Okay, welcome to Relationship Flow. We are not in Shirat David today. We are in Netanya. How exciting. Just a few days with the family up north. Big bracha. And Baruch Hashem. We have the opportunity to learn our weekly relationship flow so we can keep up our Seder here. And hopefully we'll do the Likutei Halachot back in Shirat David in Efrat in the next few days. So here we are. We're talking about the laws of conduct in the bathroom, which, as I said in the intro last week, that was a big breakthrough for me in yeshiva days to understand that the kedusha of Torah is dafka in the places, where we clean ourselves. It's in the most physical aspects of life. The Shulchan Aruch and the Halacha and the Panimius are discussing the place where we cleanse, and it's a big part of our Shkamas Boka, of waking up in the morning and getting ready for Shachris. Or part of the preparations is making sure we have a clean guf, a clean body. And on the Panimius level, we already learned that it gets rid of the pasolis, the waste, that we talked about Parsha Zeikev last week as well, which is this week's Parsha, about the mitzvah of eating lechem and absorbing the good part of the food and removing the pasolis, the not good part. And part of that avodah is also how we eat, how we bench, the Birkas HaMazon, which is mitzvah d'oraisa that mentioned today's in the Aliyah we mentioned in Parsha Zeikev, Cholta v'savatu v'rachta. But just by the eating and being satiated and blessing, we already, just through the ruchnius level, already misakin all the good aspects of bringing out the good and getting rid of the not good. So he goes on to say in the same halacha, and this is in number 4, number 9 in Likutei Halachot from Rabbi Nachman's Talmud, Rabbi Nosson, Zchus Yachid Aleinu, okay, now rotzeh lekabu alav al malchus shamayim shlema. Therefore, whoever wishes to accept upon himself the yoke of heaven's malchus in a complete manner, shu bechinas chachma tata hanal hu bechinas malchus kanal yifana v'yito yadav. And this is all brought in halacha, which corresponds to the tikkun of the lower wisdom malchus. He should relieve himself, and the Chazal bring this, and wash his hands. Yifana ledachas, excuse me. Yifana ledachas hamisoris shem bechinas chachmas chitzonis kanal. He should relieve himself in order to expel the waste, which is synonymous with what? With the extraneous wisdoms, is Chachmas Chitzonis, which we've been talking about. Part of the tikkun of Shachris is to remove ourselves from all the Chachmas Chitzonis that we could pick up in Golas in the night. And the day is meant to have the clarity of Bechina Geula, removing ourselves from all the externalities. V'achakach yito yada b'mimei chesed. And after he should wash his hands of water symbolic of the waters of Chesed. And we know, based on Kabbalah and Pnimis Torah, that the sphere of Chesed signifies outflowing expansiveness. And thus associated with the element of water, washing one's hands symbolizes the drawing of the root elements of Chesed, the Chesodim, the benevolences from Das. Namshe Chesed and our Aidei Chotchin. Chotchin, so that this is the... a minute, here we are. Chotchin, just make sure we're the right page. Chotchin malchus mitarin osa mehem. To evoke chesed, through which he severs malchus and purifies it from the hold of the 4 kingdoms. So he mentioned these 4 kingdoms are the 4 levels of chochmah chitzonis, of external wisdoms. Part of the golas that we're dealing with, always being masakin. There's a whole Torah later on which talks about it, and also in Gittin. In Likutei Halachot, it talks about these 4 malchus, but the main nakuda that we're in the last malchus, right? Yeah, we're in. But the point is that we're dealing with, at the end of days, well, just like we have a Likutei Svarim, which is gathering all the Torahs of the Tzaddikim, and it's Asfim, we're gathering all the Inyanim. So too, there's a kibbutz from all the Rishoim. Remember, Aaron Yosef mentioned it a few times. All the malchus, all the. Like we see, the internet is like a gathering of all the information of all the world, all the data, all the history, everything's there. But it's all on an external level. We have to, as Am Yisrael, bring the neshama, bring the or, the panimius of chachma. And the part of our physical avoda of cleansing our body removes our connection to the external aspects. It brings us to a more inner, clean place so we can bring the true Malchus Shemayim, true kingship of Hashem into the world.
Amazing in this bathroom,
Yeah.
They have like the seat, like the small
Yeah.
where it can clean you behind, out there,
Yeah, so that's very good.
out leaving any...
Yeah, it's good. So all these different tools I mentioned last time also, that we have so much tools now, even though we're a finicky generation, yes, in this generation, but we can actually use that for our tov, for our voda, because we're cleansing, we're very pure, we're very clean. And we mentioned from Rav Tzadok, we're going to learn it later this week, how this generation is actually more pure than all the generations from before, on the inner level. Yeah, so on an external level, that's also manifested that we can potentially clean the physical aspects of our body as well. And after he should don tefillin, which is what we just did, and recite Shema and pray, for all those devotions relate to the Zikunim, it comes through the prayer one recites in the morning. Shekol Tikunim Shehem is Oris Hashena. I actually ended up davening two shachrises because I came to the Sephardi one, I was a bit late, and then with the Ashkenazi, by the time I finished, I davened two shachris. It was 6:30 to 8:30. But that's how long it took me, just because, Kriyas Torah, there's a lot going on a Yom Sheni. All these rectifications, namely waking from sleep, relieving oneself, washing one's hands, donning tzitzit, tefillin, reciting Shema, and etc., and the Shemona Esrei, Hakol b'shvil aliyas hamalchus ki yidua. All are for the sake of elevating Malchus, as known from Kabbalistic teachings. So from the Priyetz Chaim, the Shari Tefillah, Shu bechinas hochma tata, shezeh bechinas Avram takin shachris, k'mo shekosu b'Torah sanau. And this is the elevation as Malchus is paralleled each morning in lower wisdom, whose tikkun is alluded to in the teachings of Avraham Avinu, who was Mesachin. He was the one who instituted Shachris, and it's written in the Rebbe's lessons. Yeah, we will know that it's Chazal, but Chazal don't say about fixing up Malchus. That's something that Rabbi Nachman is bringing. And so too, because one wipes oneself to remove the waste associated with extraneous wisdoms of all the four kingdoms, one should not wipe with the right hand, since he uses that for the tefillin. Yeah, so the right hand is, as we mentioned in halacha, you don't use the right hand to wipe your feces. Yeah, you don't use that, and you don't use the full left hand. You just use the etzbah, the main finger, and the thumb. Those two to clean yourself, because the middle finger for men, we use it to tie tefillin. We make a kedushin every morning. We're married to Hashem. That's with the tefillin having kedusha and using the right hand to tie it. And since the right hand also has precedence, also is chesed and is pushing away all these chitzonius forces, so therefore we're able to fix up and elevate Malchus by doing it the right way, by keeping the halacha. Shem or haponim shemisham ikachir sham Malchus. For tefillin are the revelation of or haponim, the source of Malchus. That's the vitality, enabling Malchus to rise. She'oila hanetaris mehem. And so too Malchus then ascends as purified from the contamination of the four kingdoms. Al kein asa lefonos mizrach marav machmashu neged Yushalayim shisham beis hamikdash. And it's also another halacha is, you're not allowed to relieve yourself when you go to the bathroom in the direction of the Beis Hamikdash, which is east to west. Remember, the Shechina is in the west. Yeah, there's brought in Shulchan Aruch or Chaim.
So the kivun of the bathroom can't be
Mizrach? Yeah, such a thing. I mean, I don't know if people are machpil on this halacha. One of the reasons could be because nowadays, I'm not saying this for sure, but I think I remember seeing in Piskei Teshuvos and other svarim that because we have such sneers bathrooms nowadays, because we have proper basic kisa, like a proper place to make with mechitzas and everything else, with walls, and so it's not as a problem. But back in the day, you used to make outside or making places less covered, so then it was almost like they were making towards the Beis Hamikdash, God forbid, which are not allowed. So we have to respect the Shechina. The main point is just have in mind that we're respecting the Shechina, and even when we're making in the bathroom. Where the essence of the Or Haponim is revealed. That's the Beis Hamikdash, the Or Haponim.
I want to say that, remember when I was having a bar mitzvah,
yeah,
and you told me that because was probably because I started putting on filling. So he told me this halacha of when you go to the bathroom, so you can't clean with your right hand and only with your left hand with the two fingers.
Yeah.
So it was very hard for me to change over to it.
Yeah.
Because I was how do you say I was very
used to it
from using the right hand from when I was small. That was the first thing I said was like.
So you grew up with halacha, and then if you grew up not with halacha, you can fix it.
And only now, and I remember trying to do it when I was 10, and it didn't work. And now I legamre changed it. Often at the night when I will ask you the question when I'm walking back home from shore.
Yeah.
And now every time when I go to the bathroom, it's an excitement for me.
Yeah. Right. That's the amazing thing. Exactly. That's beautiful because so did you say, how can I bring Hashem into the bathroom? You can't think about Hashem, but you can think about those halachas. So that even in the bathroom, there's still kiyum halacha. There's still a way of bringing the Shekhinah, or respecting the Shekhinah rather, in the bathroom. So that shows you how Am Yisrael make everything holy, even going to the toilet. In review, Jewish law prohibits using the right hand to wipe oneself after defecating. Rav Nosson writes, this is to the physical component of food, the waste products, which is in context here equates with extraneous wisdoms, whereby heresy proliferates. This is why one should not use his right hand to wipe the body waste products, since we use the right hand to tie tefillin to draw the or ponim. Remember, the or ponim is the base of Migdash, is the tefillin that shines in the ponim when he eats in holiness. Also when you eat. Remember, we learned last week about the whole Parsha Zeikev of Hashem is the one giving chiyas into the food. So there's a experience of Shekhinah when we eat as well. Our tables like a mizbeach, and we have all these brachas and mitzvahs. Yeah, it's a spiritual voda for sure, eating. But even how we wipe ourselves is affected by that. How we remove the psolos from the food, and then our body itself. It's an amazing thing. It's a wondrous creation. The body, how it cleanses itself and only holds on to the good aspects. And this is also the reason a person must not relieve himself while positioned between east and west, for the world, then he'll be facing Yerushalayim, the side of the base of English, from where the essence or upon him issues to purify the lower wisdom and separate from the extraneous wisdoms, the waste products of the body. So we're just going to do one more thing from Gedalia. We always like to throw in a bit of Gedalia on this relationship flow, and we're going to tie it into how does it connect to relationship flow. So one of the things is in the home, is you should try, and this week's parsha also mentions, you should be very careful what you bring into your house. You shouldn't bring in external wisdoms, like you shouldn't bring any apikosis or any heresy into your home. Your home should be a place of Torah and Emunah, because you know, especially where the Shekhinah is in your home and by your wife, by your soulmate, and you have to respect the Shekhinah, you have to honor it, and you have to be clean around it. You know, it's not just because being English, we're very clean and all this and that. There's a certain, the panemius is because you're respecting the soulfulness, the fact that there's this beautiful presence of Hashem in your home and at your table and in the cleanliness of your house. So it's a big thing. So if someone cleans the bathroom, for example, that's a big mitzvah. It's just bringing the Shekhinah into the home, so the home can have kedusha and tahara, and you can do mitzvahs without any shilas or problems of smells and things you shouldn't have. It says now, Gedalia, in a surrender book, page 303, don't fall for the trap. Rabbi Nachman says that sometimes bad people will receive enormous wealth, and this could be so people will fall into the trap set up by the evil inclination. Just as a policeman goes undercover, the evil inclination goes undercover to trap people and make them lose their spirituality. Don't question your Creator regarding the distribution of money. That's His business. So we know that Hashem decides who has the shefa. This is exactly what we need to hear right now. There's times of big shefa and times not. But it's all up to Hashem. Hashem is Mafanis HaKol. Every time we bench, we remind ourselves this truth. Hashem is Mafanis HaKol. He's the one, Revach, who gives the prophet, gives the shefa. The only thing that you should compare yourself to is yesterday's version of you. When we compare ourselves to others, Gedalia says, especially in terms of money, we can easily fall into spiritual confusion. Wealth isn't always a reward, and it isn't a reward. And lack isn't always a punishment. Sometimes God allows false light to shine in order to test clarity and to strengthen trust. I was talking to a few different people around that we're friends with, And they're all going through this challenge right now. And we all said it's a test. Hashem's testing us. We don't know why, because we're good people. We're going to use the panasa for hinuch, for family, to be able to give tzedakah. We're not good people. We're good people. And we see a lot of people making a lot of shefa who maybe don't seem so good. So it's a test. It's a big test when this happens. But it doesn't reflect on your self-esteem, on how you hold yourself when it's hard, which is something a man can be very, especially men can get very down on themselves when they're not, with shefa, because they think maybe there's something wrong with me. But
because the biggest pachad from every man in the world was
it's a test.
Doesn't want to feel like he doesn't have what to give, because he's teva is only wanting to give the whole.
Well, interestingly, during Tanya, this chitas, it talks a lot about tzedakah right now.
Right.
And Rav Shlomo mentioned it dafka on Tisha B'Av, and I thanked him for it, because for me that was the most important thing I needed to hear this Tisha B'Av, is not to have shame about tzedakah inyanim, like to not allow busha to hold you back doing what you need to do to be able to get the panasa you need. Like you have to have panasa, So Hashem gives different situations, different people, and sometimes they're the givers, sometimes they're the ones receiving. And the receivers are also givers.
Right.
And it might be hard for people to receive, but overcoming your shame.
Deepest thing.
Yeah, overcoming your shame. And in the end, the fact everyone should have a certain level of shame. Because Hashem is...
knowing how to get.
No, but Hashem's giving us life. And that's why what we say, and as we get to Slichas, Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, we're already Elul Bor, we're coming up to Tu B'Av, and Elul Bor, Elul's coming. So we have, and the Sfarim already begin on Rosh Chodesh Elul. So the idea of Slichas, we say, the Hashem, that it's the fact He gives us a guf, the fact it's all tzedakah, even in the Haftorah, it's tzedakah, the Haftorah says that on Shabbos Chazan says that Hashem's going to redeem us with tzedakah, and that's the key to remember. And so it's not stam that the Tanya right now is talking about again and again, the Indian of tzedakah, and it's coming up as a sugya because it's something which allows you to have the humility, and you strengthen your trust in Hashem that it will be okay. Don't be distracted by what looks like success. Stays anchored in your path, your values, your growth. The real measure is not what others have, it is how far you've come. Don't chase don't chase what is shiny out there. A lot of people, they show off on all this social media, all this stuff. Follow what's true. Okay, Bez Hashem. So we should zoche to be happy with what we have, but also daven for more shefa and to accept the way Hashem's doing everything, and most importantly to bring an aliyah to Malchus, to elevate Hashem's kingship in the world, to glorify Hashem in the world through the davening and through the avodah every morning, for bringing the Shekhinah into home, for keeping it clean and holy in all the different ways. And Bez Hashem, we should have a beautiful rest of Chodesh, and Bez Hashem, a happy Tu B'Av, which is coming up this week.